April 26, 2007. Tallinn, Estonia. City workers in hard hats surround a Soviet-era bronze statue. It's 2 a.m. They're moving it. The Bronze Soldier, a monument to Red Army soldiers who died in World War II. To ethnic Russians living in Estonia, it's sacred ground. To the Estonian government, it's a symbol of occupation that needs to go. By morning, riots break out in the streets. Windows shatter. Cars burn. One man is stabbed to death. Dozens are injured. Hundreds arrested. Moscow is furious. What happens next will change warfare forever. Not with tanks, not with missiles, not with a single soldier crossing a single border, with a keyboard. Estonia in 2007 is unlike anywhere else on Earth. They call it the most wired nation in the world. Internet access is a constitutional right. Voting happens online. Tax returns, medical records, banking, government services, all of it runs through a single interconnected digital infrastructure. They built it fast, built it open, and built it proud. What they didn't build was a wall around it. 3 days after the Bronze Soldier is moved, something strange happens. Estonia's largest newspaper website goes dark. Then the website of the country's biggest bank. Then the Estonian parliament. Then the Prime Minister's office. Then the police. Then the emergency services. One by one, every digital artery in the country begins to choke. This is a DDoS attack, distributed denial of service. Imagine 1 million people all trying to walk through the same door at the same time. Nobody gets through. The door stops working. Now imagine that door is a hospital's communication system, or a bank, or a government trying to manage a national crisis. That's what's happening to Estonia, except it isn't 1 million people. It's millions of machines. Computers hijacked from ordinary people across 178 countries, turned into weapons without their owners ever knowing. A botnet. An invisible army. And it isn't stopping. For 3 weeks, the attacks come in waves, each one larger than the last, each one more precisely targeted. The first wave overwhelms news and political party websites. Propaganda floods in to replace them. Fake statements from Estonian officials, forged letters, misinformation designed to deepen the chaos already on the streets. The second wave hits financial infrastructure. Hansa Bank, Estonia's largest bank, processes millions of transactions daily. For 90 minutes, it goes completely offline. ATMs stop working. Online payments freeze. People can't access their money. The third wave targets government and emergency services. At the peak of the attack, data is flooding Estonian servers at a rate never seen before in history. The entire country is being strangled. Estonian officials make frantic calls to allies. NATO commanders arrive. European Union advisors fly in. The US sends cyber experts. Nobody has ever seen anything like this. Here's what makes it worse. Estonia can't simply unplug. Their entire society runs on this infrastructure. Shutting it down to stop the attack means shutting down the country. So they fight it live, like surgeons operating on a beating heart. They block foreign IP addresses. The attacks reroute. They patch one vulnerability. 3 more open. For every move Estonia makes, the attackers adapt in real time. Whoever is behind this isn't just powerful. They're organized. They're watching. And they clearly have resources that no ordinary hacker group possesses. Moscow denies everything. Officially, Russia has nothing to do with the attacks. A Kremlin spokesperson calls the suggestion absurd. Russian state media frames Estonia as the aggressor, a government desecrating the graves of war heroes, provoking its own Russian-speaking minority. But investigators are already pulling threads. The attack traffic is traced back through proxy servers, through botnets, through layers of deliberate obfuscation. It's sophisticated, but not perfect. Some of the coordinating messages are traced to Russian-language forums. Instructions for how to attack specific Estonian targets were posted openly. IP addresses, attack times, which servers to hit and when. This isn't a shadowy group of elite government hackers operating in secret. Parts of it are a mob, ordinary Russian citizens, angry about the bronze soldier, downloading attack tools from forums and pointing them at Estonia. Patriotic cyber vigilantes. But the mob doesn't explain everything. The deepest, most sustained attacks, the ones that required massive coordinated infrastructure, those come from somewhere else. Somewhere with serious resources. Somewhere that knew exactly which systems to hit and when. NATO investigators would later conclude that the attacks showed signs of state-level coordination. The timing, the targets, the scale. It didn't prove direct Kremlin involvement, but it painted a very specific picture. Someone gave the mob a direction. Someone made sure the most critical systems got hit hardest. Someone was conducting this. Then investigators find him. His name is Konstantin Goloskakov. He's 20 years old. He's a functionary for Nashi, a Kremlin-backed youth political movement with close ties to Vladimir Putin's government. He's not hiding. In fact, he gives interviews. He admits it. Not to launching the attacks himself. He's careful about the language. But he tells journalists that he and his associates organized and coordinated the cyber campaign against Estonia. He describes it as a form of political protest, a response to what Estonia did to the bronze soldier. He expresses no regret. Estonia demands his extradition. Russia refuses. Under Russian law, what Goloskakov did is not a crime. The case goes nowhere. He faces no prison, no trial, no consequences. And here is where the story shifts from a crime story into something larger. Because what just happened in Estonia didn't stay in Estonia. NATO emergency sessions produce a document that will reshape international security for the next 2 decades. For the first time in the alliance's history, members seriously debate whether a cyber attack constitutes an act of war. Whether Article 5, the Collective Defense Clause, applies when the weapons are packets of data instead of artillery shells. They don't reach a clean answer. They never really do. But they build something. In 2008, NATO opens the Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence in Tallinn. The most wired city in the world becomes the global headquarters for figuring out how to defend against the weapon that nearly broke it. Estonia doesn't just survive the attack. It rebuilds, hardens, creates some of the most sophisticated cyber defense infrastructure on the planet. The country that was most exposed becomes the country most prepared. The world watches and takes notes because Goloskatov wasn't the last. He was the first anyone caught. 2008. Russian hackers attacked Georgia during the military conflict over South Ossetia. Same pattern. Coordinated DDoS. State media infrastructure targeted. Time to coincide with military operations on the ground. 2014. Ukraine. Power grids go dark in the middle of winter. Not a malfunction. Deliberate sabotage by a hacking group later linked to Russian military intelligence. 2016. The United States. Democratic National Committee servers breached. Emails stolen and weaponized. The most powerful democracy on earth discovers that its elections are not as secure as it believed. 2017. NotPetya. A cyber weapon disguised as ransomware unleashed primarily on Ukraine, but spreading globally, costing companies worldwide an estimated $10 billion in damages. The single most destructive cyber attack in history. US, UK, and European governments officially attribute it to Russian military intelligence. Every one of these attacks has the fingerprints of what happened in Estonia in 2007. The playbook was written in Tallinn. The rest of the world just didn't read it in time. Konstantin Goloskakov today lives freely in Russia. He was never charged, never extradited, never held accountable by any court in any country. He gave his interviews, made his admissions, and walked back into his life. The man who helped bring down an entire country's digital infrastructure at the age of 20 is, by every legal measure, a free man. Estonia's bronze soldier now stands in a military cemetery on the edge of Tallinn. The riots that sparked 3 weeks of cyber war are a footnote in most history books. But in Tallinn, they remember. Every government official who watched their systems fail in real time. Every banker who couldn't tell customers where their money went. Every emergency dispatcher who couldn't get a call through. They remember what it felt like when the lights went out. Not the physical lights, but the invisible architecture that modern life depends on completely. Right up until the moment it isn't there. They built a stronger country out of it. But they'll tell you something else too. The attack that hit Estonia in 2007, by today's standards, was primitive. What's coming next makes it look like a warning shot.